Howdy, my name is Anna Schneider and I'm Chem 119, and I'm going to be showing you different kind of chemical reactions along with oxidation reduction reactions, redox reactions in my experiment. I'm going to be turning pennies green. So I took some pennies that are just lying around. I have them and I'm going to show you this one versus this one. As we can see, this one's a lot darker and it has more dark spots, and this one's a lot more shiny. It's probably newer. The reason that this one is so dark is actually representing our first reaction in this experiment, and that is the oxidation of copper. So we take solid copper, we mix it with oxygen gas. It's going to be exposed to oxygen gas and it's going to create copper oxide. We know that this is an oxidation reaction because there is an electron transfer. There's a transfer of electrons between two of the reactants on the product side. And I'll show you this because in oxidation state, we track the electron transfer through oxidation states. And an oxidation state is a concept that provides a way to keep track of electrons in a redox reaction. There are 5 different rules with oxidation states, and I'm going to be showing you 2 of the different rules. And that is if there is just one element or a mixture of the same element, their oxidation states are always going to be 0. And on this side, oxygen mixed with something else, combined with something else, always going to have an oxidation state of -2. And so we use some algebra because the sum of the oxidation states for a neutral compound is always going to be equal to 0. Use some algebra to find the oxidation state of copper, which is going to be 1. So as we see, the oxidation state increases for copper, which means it is losing electrons. And the oxidation state for oxygen is decreased, which means it's gaining electrons. So that is the first reaction. The second reaction is going to be after I pour vinegar on my pennies. I pour vinegar on my pennies, and this is, I'm going to show you the product after about 24 hours. It takes a little while. So I did it before. And as you can see, these pennies are definitely have less green than these two. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. But I'm going to show you what this reaction is. In chapter 8, we learn 5 different kinds of reactions. I'm showing you a synthesis reaction. We are combining 2 reactants to form one product. A plus B forms AB. This is the equation for it. So we take copper oxide on the pennies and we add acetic acid from the vinegar, which is in vinegar, and then it creates a product of malachite. Malachite is a bluish green tint that forms on copper from this reaction. It is also, like, you can see it on the Statue of Liberty. There's just a small representation of what happens with the Statue of Liberty, since it used to also be copper and brown. And so, yeah, that is the reaction that's occurring here.